Hey everyone, this is, let's see, we just gotta make sure that this gets us, there we go. Nope, almost. There, so if you are on the chat, hopefully we can see you over on the side there. And we are sorry that we are late, so we're gonna jump right into it for today. So since we are recording this and we're gonna edit it down so that you'll have a great copy of the broadcast, I just want to say that first and then we'll get right into it. So. Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us for the 100 Small Biz video marketing and photography for social media to help you kickstart your brand in 2018. I am Liberty White and I am joined here with the fabulous, can you say that for a guy?
You know what, I'll take it. I'll take fabulous. I kind of like that.
Wonderful. With Neddy Nyce with Too Nice Photography. And we're here broadcasting live from WeWork. So we're excited to share a lot of the tips and the information that we, for almost 20 years of experience in video and in photography to help you up-level your brand. But most important, what today is all about is 30 days. We want to help you kickstart your social media, whether it be with video or even with your photos in the next 30 days. So just kind of have that in mind so that as we go through the information that we're really giving you stuff that you can start like right now. Like once we get off, make sure you've got either, your notepad out or whether it be on your laptop to take some really great notes. We will be sending you post-broadcast. You will get the recording in addition to the handouts that we've created because we want you to be able to go right into it. So you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Well, let's go. So really quickly, 100 Small Biz started 2016. The whole idea behind it is the educational part of Chosen Media where we help people with their digital marketing efforts. So whether it's Google Analytics, social media, just on trend. And I, being Liberty White, just from the people that we've spoken to, realize that there's a need for it. And having worked in government, in the nonprofit sector, then entertainment, and then now just overall content, that's, how we decided, okay, we need an educational part of our agency. And then what about Too Nice Photography? How did you get started?
I got started basically in the year 2000. I was at a friend's wedding. I was using my basic camera at the time. And I didn't do too much, research on photography at the time, but I was taking pictures and then my friend just loved the photos that I did better than their official photographer.
Oh, wow.
So then right after that, I said, you know what, I'm going to start, taking this more serious.
Okay.
And then I did some courses and I actually shadowed with a few photographers and then kickstarted my business. And everything has been going pretty good since. And that is 18 years running. Okay,
awesome. All right, so we're going to jump right into it. And we've got some great notes here for you guys. And if you are watching, we just, there's a chat window on the side. If you can kind of tell us where you're watching from, and you can even begin to start dumping your questions in there. And as we go through the material, then we'll be able to address them as we move on. Pulling up the window here. There we go.
Should I add some ad-lib in here?
Sure.
So I've actually known Liberty White for a long time as well. Originally in Toronto. Is that okay to say?
That's fine, yes.
And now she's, based out of the ATL area. So pretty good. I'm actually very proud of you.
Oh, thank you. We just had a moment there. So building a good photo. Yeah. That was something that you said that when you look at people, when they post, whether it be for their business or even for their brand, that is a challenge sometimes. Can you kind of talk us through that? What does it mean to build it? Because that was interesting. I haven't actually heard that phrase before.
Yeah. So basically, there's two aspects to it. So first we'll talk about product.
Okay.
So if you're building your photo to go online, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, or on your website, there's a lot of key factors that you have to pay attention to.
Okay.
So lighting for me is the number one. You have to make sure that your product is lit properly from all different angles. Basically, you don't want too many shadows on your product unless you're trying to give a dramatic effect to it.
Okay.
So I kind of tell people to try to make sure that it's lit from all different angles and lit correctly so that it'll show well. The second thing to building your shot, I tell people to pay attention to the background, because the background of your shot is very important, because people aren't just looking at the product itself, they're looking at the surroundings as well, because the whole thing makes the picture. So you want to build your shot so that is put certain stuff in the background that either complement the product or have the product on a clean white backdrop or a clean black backdrop, or you can use any different color that you want as long as it's a clean one, or you can have it in a scene. So for example, I can't remember the example I told you when we were talking about it before.
Was like the busy, with the bee.
Oh, so yeah. So some people, sometimes they're taking a picture of a product and they take the picture in their house and it's in their kitchen. You see stuff on the counter, plates and whatever else and stuff like that. And it just looks too busy and it doesn't complement the shot. So just like how some people stage homes, how people go in and do home staging, you have to kind of stage your scene for doing your product photography. Now, if you're doing headshots, you're doing a personal brand, you're branding yourself, basically, the background is definitely important as well. So how your distance, your distance from the background is very important in terms of how much blurred effect you're going to get. Some people in the photography world, we know it as the depth of field. So if your background, whatever you're shooting against, and you're right against it, then everything that is in the background is very clear. But if you step away from the background, like whatever it is that you're shooting in front of, you step like a few feet in front of it, then you'll get a difference between your image and the background as blurred out. So you'll be standing out crystal clear. I hope that helps.
No, that works really well. So
I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, that's great information. You cannot have too much information, especially since we're trying to pack it in to a really short window of time. Mm-hmm. So not having crazy patterns, and then. Yeah.
The crazy pattern part is very distracting. So if you're looking at a shot and you're looking at the person and then the background is too busy, your eyes kind of wander all over the place. And no matter what the person is saying, your kind of focus is all around because you're not honing into what the person is talking about. So if the background is way too busy, and as well, if the background doesn't relate to what you're trying to sell, then it kind of defeats the purpose.
There were some things that you were also sharing, like a lot of the bloggers or even a lot of lifestyle photos that I've seen online. There's that kind of bokeh effect that people have. Because I'm sure some of those that are watching might want that really cool effect. How do you make that happen? Yeah, so there is a certain ratio between what you're using as your camera. Either it's a cell phone or it could be an actual digital camera. The ratio between the person and the camera, okay, and then the person and the background. So I usually say maybe 1/3 in front and then 2/3 or more behind is a good distance to have a good bokeh. Okay. So the closer you are to the front camera, and then the further away from the back, you'll get a more bokeh effect, which is blowing out the background, which is maybe having it blurred. Okay. And now when it comes to like just even their, like a good photo, what does that mean? Because, you know, we are saying that in 30 days that, you know, whoever's watching, that they'll be able to take those next steps. What does that mean of having like a quality photo? Because we're not saying to go buy all this expensive equipment right now.
No, so you don't actually have to have all the expensive equipment. A lot of the cell phones that they do make nowadays, the newer ones, they're good size megapixels. So you can actually get a good, decent shot. What I try to tell people is try not to use the front camera. Sorry, try not to use the flash that's on the camera because it kind of whites out the image and makes it too washed out. So if you can use some sort of external lighting, whatever you have, or you can use natural lighting from inside, outside, close to a window. If you're out in the park or something like that, you use some nice natural lighting and light up your photo. But try not to use the front camera.
Front flash, because it makes those hard lines.
It makes those hard lines, and it also it'll darken out your background way too much. So then you'll kind of lose the effect if you have some nice scenery. Sometimes people put up like you don't have to buy a fancy backdrop. You can have like a nice sheet. Or not really a curtain. If it can be a nice curtain if you have that as well, you can put that up in your house. Make sure it's nice and straightened out, ironed. And then put that up behind you.
So even for our setup today, just I guess making a quick transition to the to the video part of things, like we've got this beautiful umbrella light here. Now, of course, this is what Neddy uses for when he's shooting wedding photos or even just like other headshots or just overall photography. But for us, knowing that just some of the lights, you probably won't be able to see it, and I don't want to move all this equipment we have in here, but just the lighting on the side, it would have originally, we had it here and it was just casting a shadow. And those types of things are a distraction when it comes to whether it be your photos or your videos. And I'll just make a quick transition even into the video part of things, that you want to make sure that in your effort to increase engagement, which ultimately will get you more leads and people paying attention more and taking your brand more seriously. And Neddy had said this a little bit earlier, is the trust. Like they trust your brand by the quality of the photos that they see. Again, at this point, we're not talking about going and investing in a full out production or studio or anything like that. But by being intentional with how you shoot or just composing your shot, the shot composition, just that thoughtfulness, people begin to, that whole trust factor of knowing, and that's one of the things I wanted to get into, is the consistency that you are either posting your photos or the consistency that you're doing video. And the beautiful thing is, again, we're talking about the next 30 days, what we are asking of you and inviting you to do, so that, you know, the algorithm is a huge thing. Hopefully for those of you who are on Facebook or have your business on Facebook, that you see there's news that they've changed the algorithm again. And that's one of those things that when you're doing video or when you are doing your photos, that it's, in using those tools, you're able to train your audience. Like, or a better analogy is programming. Like everybody knows on Tuesday night, you can watch This Is Us. Like that's, you set your clock.
You watch that too, eh?
Yes. you set your clock to it. You know that when you turn on whatever station, whatever network, that there it is. It's the show is on, and you don't go wondering, unless, you know, we're in award season now. So we kind of are there might be times when it's preempted because of that, but that trust factor because of the consistency. So whether it be, you know, one of the handouts that you'll get post the broadcast is a plan to help you to be more consistent. So whether that be you broadcast every Tuesday at noon over lunch for like 15 minutes. People know what to expect. They know to come because you're going to share tips. You're going to do, I think someone on the webinar is also, you know, they've got a bakery or they do cupcakes. So if every Tuesday you're showing your favorite flavor or the latest flavor, whatever it is, now you're building community. That's really what we want to help you do, is using these tools to enhance what you offer to your community. So that was a really long way to just share how important consistency is. Mm-hmm. And even as you hear some of these tips, it might be like, oh, well, that's easy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, that's simple.
Yeah.
But in saying that, it's actually, we all have busy lives. So that consistency factor can be challenging if you do not plan. So that was the point of just stressing planning things out.
Yeah. And that definitely goes with photos as well. Posting your photos on a certain timeline all the time. Consistency, it kind of keeps your audience engaged, so they know exactly, okay, at this time, Liberty White's going to be posting something, or Neddy's going to be posting something, and they can kind of wait for it.
Right. And that can even go with if there are specials that you offer. So the first Friday of every month that you're posting, or maybe it's every other Friday, you're posting a photo where you're looking for engagement from your audience. But first of all, you've got to put it out there and be consistent. But that's the track record that people know, hey, it's Friday and I'm looking for, said information to come up in my timeline, because I know I'm going to get a coupon code that will then I can go purchase some soap or purchase some cupcakes, or if it's a coaching program that people just know what to expect at those times. Then also another aspect of it is your hashtag game.
Yes.
So that goes well, and I had to sing it. Don't ask why, but knowing what hashtags to use that will help your videos, up-level your videos, and help people to find you, in addition to being able to scope out what the competition is doing.
Yeah. So
hashtags are really important. And even in using the hashtags, the more people are, and this is especially for Instagram, the more people are searching for that pops up in the search. When you go to Instagram and you go to search, how it shows you like the top posts, and then underneath that are like the recent ones. That's real estate for you, whether it be, again, photos or videos. That's real estate for your business to be visible. So, don't just post and wish, post with intention. Because, you've got, and you even have, and I like that Neddy just kind of jogged a thought there of like hashtag, even a branded hashtag. If you are looking for your brand, so that, Neddy, I know that he has a hashtag Too Nice Photography. Yeah. Also, your sister, you and your sister have a personalized hashtag.
Yeah. So my sister has her hashtag with Too Nice, her Neddy Nyce Photography, and mine I have with Too Nice Photography. So whenever I'm posting photos and I put that hashtag, all of my stuff that I've posted with that hashtag show up directly there. So sometimes you might be going through, your news feed, and then you click on a hashtag. Somebody might click on my Too Nice hashtag because they came in from another hashtag, and then they'll see all of my work as well, same way. So it works out good.
Awesome. So just even utilizing hashtags if you're not currently using it. And so we said the consistency factor, the hashtags, the video, going live. Just to share that is across all the boards, across Facebook, across Instagram, even Twitter. There's a priority. I mentioned earlier the algorithm. There's a priority that they give to using live video. So if you are not doing live, again, the handout that you will receive walks you through going live, because for some people, it's not necessarily that they don't know how the technical side of going live. It's like a confidence issue.
Yeah.
So we're going to walk you through that process so that you'll be able to kind of build it up. But the importance and why it's significant to go live is that Facebook is then saying, hey, they're live.
Yeah. So put that up right away.
Right.
Yeah. So then lots more people will see it.
Exactly. So they push that. It's almost like Facebook is your agent or your PR agent, and they're pushing you out in front of the audience a little bit more. Now, again, the engagement matters. So it's not just going live. That is a huge, like half the battle is going live, but then the engagement. Yeah. How long are people watching? Are people commenting? Are people liking? So you definitely, as you're, doing a live broadcast, to have that engagement factor. But on Facebook, once the whole live platform came, there, I believe there we go, 3 times. there's 3 times more engagement for broadcasts that are 20 minutes long. I don't know. You probably were like, what? 20 minutes? Yes. So the longer that you are able to broadcast, and I'll explain to you why. So when you just go live, you know, sometimes you'll see that notification that says, hey, Facebook is finding your friends, or Instagram does that. Yeah. We're finding friends to like bring you live, because that means they're sending the notifications out to say, hey, Too Nice Photography is live. But the longer you are, then it's like people that eventually comes up in their feed and they're like, oh, hey, I'll jump on. So, you know, we're not saying do 20 minutes right now unless you have something extremely engaging, like a tutorial, or you're doing a workshop, or you're webinar, right? Or you're teaching something or doing some makeup. Those do really well. Cooking does amazing across all platforms. But we are saying that if you are able to go live for longer, like kind of learn to stretch it out. Because the thing too is some of the ways, even so I said the first thing was the algorithm when you go live, but also when you go live, there are some great ways to get engagement and get business by making sure you drop a link to your product. Or your page, or tell people you know, we're going to get into CTA soon, because I know we're tracking at almost a halfway mark here, but the importance of using CTAs or dropping a promo code.
Promo code, you know, buy before a certain period of time. When I do wedding shows, this is one thing that I love to do. I always have like a promo package, and I'll say, if you know, sign up for this package before, and I put whatever date on it, you'll get some sort of discount. So it gives an urgency to the consumer to say, okay, well, we have to contact him and get in this package to get this sort of discount. So it kind of keeps people like always going forward to, you know, contact you right away before the expiry date.
And that's the thing, like you can use some of the same tactics that, you know, traditional advertising use, like the promo codes, the call to actions, but it's just a matter of like how you do it when you're doing your broadcast. You know, you don't want to be selling all the time. So that's another thing. Gary V, I believe it's like jab, hook. So it's like you give value, then ask. So the first thing, you don't want to just come on and say, hey, I'm selling da-da-da-da-da. Like that, if every broadcast is like that, that's more of a deterrent. However, if it is, hey, you're, you know, remember the idea is to build trust. Know, like, trust. That's what people buy from. People do business with who they trust. So really, like, we're trying to broaden your thought process of these are things you really do know. At the core of it, you know, that whole know, like, trust. But it's how do you then go and use that in social in an effective way. So the consistency, hashtags, and live video. And so we did the trust, the storytelling. Touching on that, that was a really good one too.
So one thing with storytelling, if you're doing products, for example, let's say, for example, what kind of products I use? Let's say you're selling kitchen knives, right? You can actually place your products, you know, in a kitchen, you know, by a sink, nice clean area, and have the knife by itself, or you can have it shown in a video, like slicing through something, or taking a picture of the product in its environment. Kind of gives people a better grasp of, you know, how to use it, or, you know, what you're selling, and not just selling knives, but you're selling it as a you know, useful tool. How am I saying this?
That exactly what you were saying with the experience, like wanting people to, if I'm doing mugs, well, where do you see mugs? It could be the straight up way of, like, in breakfast, you have some lifestyle shots of people drinking with it. But then I've also seen there are folks where they put it in like weird places. Because the idea is that shock value that they bring to it. But just even, it goes back to your first point of just the thoughtfulness of composing the photo. Likewise, making sure that, hey, putting it in a place where people can see themselves using it. And going back to the mugs, I've seen somebody actually have a mug, but they took a photo of it in their house with
some plants in it.
Okay.
So it was like they were using it as a plant, like a pottery holder.
Right.
But, no one really would thought of that. They usually think of mugs to drink, but you can also buy it and have it as just a nice decor in your house.
Right. So just planting that seed in the mind of your customers of different ways that they could do it.
Yeah.
I like that. A lot. All right. So some of the best practices when it comes to video, kind of, we went through a couple of them, just the length of the videos that you use. And then, of course, you want to have a microphone. And I know you have it in your hand, just like I've got, and that's what you see me because I'm kind of watching the broadcast at the same time. But the simplicity of just even using your headset. Again, we're not here to give you all of this like grandiose equipment. We want to help you get started right now. And how you can do that is what you have. So maybe if you do not have like the headset, the microphone and the headset, invest in that. That might be, depending on what phone, what device you have, that could be $20 or it could be a little bit more. But the importance of having the headphones is one, that you'll be able to also hear yourself through the broadcast, but then also the microphone being extremely close to your mic. Even right now on this broadcast, we originally had the microphone out, the camera is right there. We originally had the microphone there, and after some testing, we saw that, the quality of was not up to par. So we then moved it, and actually our microphone is right here. So we can see the levels on our camera and see that. So now if you're on a mobile device, a little bit different, but having the headphones in, you're able to monitor your levels. And that's something that, if you're kind of used to watching some webinars or even YouTube shows, you see the host, sometimes they've got the headsets in so that they can hear. So just the importance of having your mic, your headphones, also lighting. You mentioned some of that with lighting. If you can use daylight, that's always preferable.
Yes. So the thing about daylight, there's some key times to taking a photo and having it look the best. And sometimes, doing it at another time might not look the best. So in photography, we have this thing called the golden hour. So the golden hour is anywhere between like 5 in the morning till 7 in the morning. And also going towards the nighttime between 4 and 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, depending on if it's summertime or if it's wintertime. And what happens is at those times, either the sun is rising or the sun is setting. So then you get a nice glow coming off of the sun, which gives you a golden appearance, hence the golden hour. When you're shooting photos and you're shooting video and the sun is at 12 o'clock right above you, it gives harsh shadows. So you'll have my eye sockets are not as deep, but some people have really deep eye sockets. Okay. So it'll give you a harsh shadows here, harsh shadow under your nose, harsh shadow under your chin. Not the most flattering. And if you have wrinkles on, it's not going to be the best for you. So if you can try to shoot yourself in the daytime, but either a little bit later on or a little bit earlier, and not right at 12 o'clock, you'll be okay.
Okay. So, and that's really important, especially if, depending on what your product is, your brand, or even yourself, just making sure that you're putting yourself in the best light. See how I did that?
Nice.
Love that. Yeah. So the lighting aspect, so we've got, and then stabilizing your shot. That's always, if I don't know how many might be familiar with me, but some of my latest posts on even Instagram have really been talking about stabilizing your shot. Now, if you are vlogging, or if that's the kind of look and feel that you're going for, having your mobile device kind of in your hand is cool, or whether it's on a selfie stick, that's even better, because even your hand has a minimal amount of shaking that it does just naturally. But whether it's a tripod or a selfie stick, or even, and these are some of those hacks, stacking up some books. So that if you're at your desk going live, that you can just tilt your phone and then, broadcast live. Or even if you are at an event, for any of you event planners who might be watching and you're trying to figure out, okay, I really need to get that shot. There might be a window ledge or a table that you can just, even because your hands even mimic that of a tripod, and just holding it that way, or again, leaning it up on something. But your microphone, your light, and stabilizing your shot critically important, very important.
Yeah.
And your light, even if you think that your phone might not be the best quality, and there aren't that many phones out there now that don't have a really good resolution, but having lights or even a lamp that, again, not behind you because that casts a shadow on your face, but in front of you, then that enables you to have your end user, whoever's watching or listening, to have a better experience because they can see you.
Yeah. And I even was telling people before about this little mini ring light that I bought. And it goes right over your cell phone, and it has, all the lights in a circle on it, and it gives you the perfect catch light in your eyes, and it gives a nice uniform light to your whole picture. And those are very cheap to get. I'm not going to push the website where you can get it from.
That website where people are buying a lot of stuff.
Yes, online. You can get them on there. It's just a mini ring light for your cell phone, and those are very cheap to buy.
Yes. Alrighty. So, and then photo wise, what are some of the ways, like very, again, cost effective that people can, because I know there's some clients that we work with budget wise, it's not there. And stock, I know you're a photographer, so you might, kind of be
stock photos?
Apprehensive, but stock photos, if you need to get started.
Yes. Like I always tell people, you can go and check some, stock photos and pay for them. Okay, don't steal anything. Okay, you can get some nice quality stock photos, because as a photographer myself, I put some stuff in stock photos so people can purchase them and then use them. And then sometimes it'll be just the image that you're looking for your website. So that is one of the key things. You want to have nice, clean photos. If you're not going to use stock photos, you're going to take your own photos. Make sure that they're nice, clean images. They clarify what you're trying to sell, whether it be products or if you're doing real estate or whatever. Make sure that your shots are very nice and clean and straightforward.
Okay. And there was, I remember you saying, just even with the kinds of shots, what are, like, for someone who might have a product that they're selling, some of the shots that they should make sure that they use those kind of shots on social, like the different angles, detail shots. And
so definitely talking to you as a consumer, if I'm buying a product, I don't want to see just one shot of the product like further away. I want to see all the close-up shots of the product. I want to try to, see if I can get a feel for how the product would, possibly feel in my hands. The stitching, if there's any stitching to it. If it's something that's baked, I want to, zoom in, maybe have a cross section, cut the product so I can see inside and stuff like that. So it's kind of like when I see all of those photos and I see lots of close-ups as well, I know that you're not hiding anything from me.
Right.
So it's almost like if you're going to buy a car, for example, and somebody takes a picture of the car and it's like 40 feet away, you're not going to know. But if somebody takes a picture of that same car and they're inside, they get the details inside the seats, they get underneath, you can see everything in the car, the person is not hiding. So it builds trust.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting just to, like, that's a word that keeps coming up over and over, the trust factor. Yeah. So just realizing that even when you are posting photos on social, that there's a variety of shots that you can actually take. Like you said, those detail shots and just showing people all angles. And even what if you have like a really small product or big, like how do you convey that?
Yeah. So, if your product is something that is not popular to people, they might
like
want to
unknown kind of
like an unknown product, right? And you're trying to sell it. Maybe it's for the home. It might be something that you've made, like it could be a vase, it could be a whatever, and they're not sure the size of it.
Okay.
So it's a good idea to take a picture of that besides something that is to scale, so that they can kind of get an idea of the size of the product. Okay. Like if the product is by itself, they don't know how big or how small it is. But if it's taken and then let's say there's a hand holding it, they say, oh, it's this small, because you can see how big the hand is over it. Okay. Or they can tell, whoa, it's a big object, because they can see how it is in relation to hands or whatever else is common for people.
Okay, so just the portion size. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, because if you have the product and it's just by itself and we don't know, so how do I know I want to buy it in my house? I don't know if it's the size of this room, and I don't know if it's the size of like a tennis ball. So the proportion size is what helps customers sometimes. And that's where it goes into telling the story. You can have some pictures of the product by itself, right? But as well, you can have some pictures of the product in a certain scene so that people can kind of relate and say, oh, I get it. That's what they're looking to do with the product. It kind of helps that way.
Okay, cool. So there's stock photos, taking your own photos, taking a variety of photos.
Definitely. Different angles on the photos as well. Not just a variety of the same shots and zoomed in shots, but different angles. So the back, the front, the top, the bottom as well. Okay.
And there's something that we both have in common, which, you know, we kind of mentioned before, is the call to action. And we actually, one of the handouts that we have that you will receive in your inbox is a list of call to actions, because we breaking it down, how to take a great photo, how to build trust, how to have consistency with your photos. But then also at the end of the day, people want whoever's looking, whoever's watching to buy, or to get render services, or to use their services, or for that thought leadership or brand building. So just the call to actions being something that either on your photos.
Yeah, you can do that on photos, or you can have it as a link underneath the photos.
Right. So in your copy. So like all of these things work together in that engagement factor. And what I really want to touch on, because I know time is going, because I'm having so much fun with you, Neddy, is just going back to some of the solutions video wise. So sometimes people don't even realize that there are websites that you can get stock video.
Oh, yeah.
So if it's a matter of, you know, your brain just, you can't wrap your brain around the equipment, what types of equipment to buy, that there are companies like Video Blocks where you can go and it's almost like licensing a photo. You can license, there you go. Look at that. You can license video. So then, and a lot of times even where you might look at maybe like a mom and pop shop and you're like, wow, that's like really great video. It's very possible that they have a subscription, you know, monthly subscription, just like all these subscription boxes out there. I feel like the first ones were like video and photo subscriptions where you get a certain number of videos that you can download or use or credits towards video each month. So if that's even where you start, where you get, you know, 3 or 4 video snippets, tie those together in the sequence, and then boom, at the end, put your call to action. There you have maybe a 15-second, a 30-second, or a 1-minute clip that can be used on Instagram, on Facebook, but, you know, to promote your brand. So I know I spoke a lot about live video just because of the algorithm and the importance. And again, 30 days, that's what we're saying. We want to help you get to that mark, like in the next 30 days, that you'll see a difference in the engagement that you have online. But whether it be, and kind of piggybacking off of the photos aspect, another cost-effective way is doing animated slideshows, like, because the motion of the photos is read as a video.
I didn't know that, but
and that's why we partnered, that we're mind sharing there. But then when you animate your photos, so you know on Instagram, so there's a way where you can have your photos and that you create a gallery. Well, if you have that in one place being in a video format, or all the photos together, but you export it as a video, then now Instagram reads it as a video, Facebook reads it as a video. You might realize in the early days with BuzzFeed and even a little bit with Tasty or a lot of these health platforms, when like doctors' offices, when you watch their videos online, sometimes it's like you see the text and then the photo and then the text. See what I'm doing with my hand? It's just a slideshow that they have transitioning and moving.
I've seen that many times.
And that's a great way where they realize, wait a second, people, you know how they say pictures are 1,000 words? Well, videos, 10,000, if not more. And just, it's better to, and we hope what you get out of this as well, is that if you can show somebody more than you can tell them, like the viewers, your audience, when you can show them how your product works, when you can show them the events that you do, or the behind the scenes of like even just doing this webinar, you know, the behind the scenes, showing people is a way of building the relationship.
Yeah, definitely. Some people who are personal trainers, it's a good idea to, same way, show people, how you're actually training people, how you get in there and, explain to them how the clients, how you're working with them, going to work with them to do the personal training and stuff like that. So it could be anything. Even I was telling somebody who sells real estate, I said, once you do a video, a mock video showing what you do when you go around to showing a house to a client, that would be very interesting for them to see how you engage with a customer and a client, and take them around and show them into the house, so it's kind of like that would be an interesting thing to do for a video.
Right. And that you're right. Like real estate. I've got a friend of mine who she's in real estate. And one of the things that she has, seen an increase for her business is when, those tours, people, you can show a picture of a house, but when you can actually and that's why VR, and that's outside the scope of this webinar, but VR and AR, it's an immersive experience. Yeah. So I'm not just seeing the video, but I'm actually walking through and it's oh my goodness, this is coming at me, or that is coming at me. Yeah. So video obviously steps down from those two platforms, but you're able to do that as a real estate agent. If you, again, I keep going back to the event planners, because especially for your industry, a lot of when you do the weddings, when you shoot weddings, that event planners, the way that they want to promote themselves, promote their businesses, those are some really great ways of going live. I keep saying behind the scenes because, jab, jab, hook, so that you are, hey, let me bring you into, everybody wants to be a part of something exclusive. Oh, yeah, definitely. Or being the first to know, or they don't want to fear of missing out. So some of these themes to kind of see, for my business, how can I create those kinds of experiences? My audience, help me engage with my audience even more. Mm-hmm. Agreed. I'm glad you agreed. And at the base of all of this, so as you go out and, again, go through some of the worksheets that we have planned for you, is that all of the information might not apply. There's something that's called A/B testing, which is essentially do something one way, change one item or one spec, and then, do it another way. So if it's a matter of testing some photos out, maybe testing black and white or testing color, although more artsy people, is that a black and white thing? Where does that? Because for me, just as an art person, I want to interpret the photo the way you've taken it, yes, right. But as well, when it's black and white, you can kind of envision your own colors in there. But I like the feel of the black and white. It's just the gradients going from gray tones to black tones to white tones. It's kind of it gives that sort of a old feel. To it. And I kind of like that from the photos. I don't want everything always to be plow right there in your face. You know what I mean? Red, blue, green, yellow. Sometimes it's just subtle, but it's, you can still see the shot very nicely and it looks very artistic in black and white. Right. And then, because I want to make sure too that we cover everything that even in our checklist is some of the apps that folks can use to help you with whether it be the photos or videos. And thankfully, the ones that we have pulled out for you are a matter of both. So Adobe Spark, that was last year, the year before, Adobe, they're the ones who create Adobe Premiere, Photoshop, a lot of those more Illustrator, the programs that professionals use, or even the DIYers out there. But they have something called Spark. And what Spark enables you to do is there are video templates that all you've got to do is switch it out with some of the video that you have, and it's already in place. So sure, sometimes when you see quotes out there, you're like, that looks familiar. I've seen that somewhere before. Sure. Customization only helps so much besides doing original video and original photography. Yeah. But this is about getting started in the next 30 days. Yeah. So Adobe Spark does both the quote side of things or photos. So kind of helping you rearrange things and just having different sections where you can drop different photos. So if you have, if there's an event you went to and you want to do a collage, that type of thing. Adobe Spark does both. Snapseed for editing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very good. I like that one as well. I don't use it all the time, but I have used it once in a while. So
right. So for on the go aspects of like just I like the way that you can just like kind of play around with the different filters and cropping. And I didn't even realize that you can also do text on it. So again, along the sides of the Adobe Spark, you can do that with Snapseed. However, Snapseed does not do video. So that is really, an app photo-wise that you can use. Also, Pinnacle. Funny story, maybe not so funny, but it's funny for me. When I actually started editing video, like way back in the day, Pinnacle was a platform that I used. So while Adobe has eaten up a lot of those early day folks, Pinnacle is not one of them, but Pinnacle has an app that you'll be able to use. And
on your phone.
Yeah, use it on your phone. So there's Adobe Premiere has an app that you can use to edit video. So whatever you capture, editing on the fly, on the go. There's also, so I said Pinnacle as well. And then iMovie, that comes with it. So you don't even have to worry about, buying any expensive. And a lot of times now, a lot of these mobile editing softwares that they are, they're cost effective.
Yeah.
Under $50. There are some that are higher end, but in 30 days, you're not doing those kind of videos.
And there's also an app that Liberty did not know about.
Yes, I was going to say that. You told me about that one today.
So I've been using this app called Video Show for the longest time. And you can have it for free, but then they just put their logo on the bottom. So I started off using the free one just to test it out. When you have transitions, fades and stuff like that, you can change anything on it. Put text on there and you can have your text move around. Okay. So that one is called Video Show, and I actually paid for it. And I think for the year, it was like $10 for the year or something like that. So I'm like, if it's only $10 for the year, right, and you can do all this stuff, or you can export in 1080p if you want to. So I said, you know what? I'll just pay for it. So I bought it and I'm using it now for all of my on-the-fly videos on the go.
Wonderful. Alrighty, so we're coming up to that time. So we're going to go quickly through just some of the, for driving sales, that be the part. So that's really going back to the CTAs, and then having special promotions that you offer your audience, and using coupon codes. Coupon codes are really helpful. And if you mirror that with your video or with your photos, that being one of the great ways to increase engagement. Yeah,
and I also, I tell people not only use social media, but also, have a website if possible. They have some free ones out there that you can just put up and have some basic stuff, or you can, pay for some websites, get it designed if you want to, or have like some templates, and make some websites. And when you design your website and you tag it on your social media, so you have people who are checking out your Snapchat or your Facebook, right, but then they can actually leave Facebook and then go straight to your website. And then that's when you have control over everything, because then you can have them going to different pages and whatever else, right, not just looking through your pictures through an Instagram feed, and then they're on to the next one, then they're on to the next one. They can leave your Instagram or Facebook and go to actual website where you can have way more of your work showing. It also shows a little bit more, in my opinion, professionalism, right, to have a website. Because I sometimes, if I'm going to go check somebody and I Google them and I see that they don't have a website, then I don't feel comfortable giving them my business, because I'm like, why am I going to go to you to, let's say somebody's coming to me for photography and I only have my Facebook, I don't have a website. Well, I don't know if you're really serious about it or not. How can I trust you if you're only going by Facebook, which is a free site, right? Right. So, and another key thing too, on your website, if you are doing a website, you can put down like sales and stuff like that, and stuff for people to click on. When you have your colors of your website finished and you're ready to launch, whenever you're putting something in as a promo code or whatever, you can use the color wheel and use the opposite side of the color wheel. I'm not sure if you know what the color wheel looks like. You can Google it. and the color wheel has all the colors around it in a circle. So when you have one color on your website, let's say your website is like blue-gray, the opposite side might be like an orange. So that will stand out a lot better than another color that's too close on the color wheel.
Right.
Am I making sense?
Yeah.
I hope that wasn't too technical.
But the color aspect, like the consistency in your color and your branding, that just kind of, again, people know, hey, I've arrived at Neddy Nyce. I mean, at Too Nice Photography. I've arrived at 100 Small Biz, just the consistency of what coloring does for them. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Alrighty, folks. So feel free to email us any questions that you have, because we are at that time, and I don't see any questions right now in the chat, which is perfectly okay, because once you actually get the video and get the handouts, you'll probably have more questions there. But we do have a 30-day or 4-week handout, which will walk you through what it would take to go live, and just helping you to brainstorm ideas, walking you through the steps. Like each week you'll have a different assignment that will then help you, one, build the confidence, get all of that out of your head, because for many of you, you probably say, I know I need to go live, I know I need to do this, but where do I begin? And that's what this handout does. It helps you begin and get started with going live. And then also you've got a checklist of all these questions that people have to ask themselves.
Definitely. And speaking about going live, the reason why I'm here today is because
right?
Liberty White, got on me and said, Neddy, you have to go live. And I'm like, live? And I'm like, at first I was nervous, but I was like, okay, you know what? We can do this, right?
Right. Yeah, because just knowing that this is where one of the things that we say a lot is you have to know where your audience lives, works, and play. And for some of the people who need your services, they need that to wrap their head around the technical aspect of photography, or understanding what it means, the implications of quality photos for their brand. So you doing the webinars and being in front of people like that, helps at the end of the day. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you found value in this workshop, we are in the email, you'll get to also fill out the survey. So let us know, what worked, what didn't, how we can optimize it for you. And any additional questions, we are here for you. Neddy, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. And we pulled this together about this. And again, you'll get an email with all the information. I just want to make sure super quickly that we didn't miss anything else in what we wanted to share today, because I know, we know it was a lot of information and a lot of technical stuff too, but in taking some sort of action or step, we're the first, this is only week 2 of 2018. So just imagine 4 weeks from now where you could be, and then ultimately 3 months, 6 months, just by making incremental change. We're not saying huge makeover, but incremental change.
And they can also email us after, right?
Yes.
I think you did say that, but just want to make sure I heard it, right?
There we go. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching again. Liberty White, 100 Small Biz.
Neddy Nyce, Too Nice Photography.
Awesome. And we will see you next time, because we'll be doing a few more.
Maybe in Atlanta.
There we go. All right. Have a great day, guys.